Okay. All right. All right. We're live on YouTube, I think. It says excellent connection. Here we go. Yeah. Boom. Okay. See the countdown? Hello, and welcome to another episode of This Is Our Year? ?
Everybody
Very
pretend
special.
the theme song's going.
Very special theme. Very special night tonight. First, this is the most guests we've ever had on a This Is Our Year podcast.
Yeah, this is the fucking Friday night party line. I love it.
Friday night party line. Also the first squealing dog we've ever had on This Is Our Year. So I'd like to.
I got a cat with an eating disorder.
We got Tommy
too.
Cat. You got a drink. That's the rule, guys. Just so you know. So let's go around the room. We'll start with Doug. Introduce yourself, obviously, and then we'll go from there.
Hi guys. I'm drinking all kinds of shit, but look at this can. Blue Comet with like the astronaut.
Blue Comet.
Woo!
Oh, that's cool.
Yum.
I like it. Awesome.
Cheers. We just had our fantasy draft. Welcome to our guests. I'll let you guys introduce yourselves. Who wants to go first?
Josh, I'm just going to go around. Josh, go ahead. You're a returning guest, so you go ahead and tell us who you are again. And also, why are you wearing a Jalen Hurts jersey when you're a Giants fan? Go.
Because 2 years ago, I won our league after about 20 years, finally. And I just want to win our league. I don't really care that I'm a Giants fan. That's all I really care about. And it's good to be back. It was a fun draft tonight. So I'm glad we're joined by other people. It should be fun. So,
cool. Brandon, you're up. Go.
Yeah, looks like I'm frozen, but I am active. That's
our file photo.
I was looking up into the heavens, trying not to be in last place this year. I'm also in the league as well. And our sister league, the Dynasty League, I'm the commissioner of that. Had you watched the episode a couple months ago, that was the draft that they were shitting on my team about that. That's me.
We make it personal here.
No, we make it personal.
I mean, from your vantage point, that's frozen.
Yeah.
You are looking up from what CBS gave you for the D. You got the worst draft grade recap. So I think it's great that you're in this frozen position for the rest of the
pod. That's fine, but I don't really give a fuck about Dave Richard. So how about that?
That's true. Dave Richard looks like. Oh, you're back. Dave
Richard did like an Undertaker. He just like
you did.
Dave Richard looks like that. Like, did you guys who went to Nathan Hale and had Mr. Rosner for 6th grade science? He just looks like a big fat 6th grade science teacher that knows nothing about football and probably looks down 6th grade girls' shirts when they.
So Tim Walz, basically.
Yeah. Oh wait, we can't make fun of Tim Walz, right? That's
I'm kidding. America. Topical.
Next up is Mark. Mark, welcome to the show. Introduce yourself.
What's up, guys? I am the horseman for the Fantasy League, in both leagues, Dynasty as well, and defending champion of this league.
That's right.
That is true. And
who's your MVP last year?
Got the highest rated draft as well with the A+, I believe. Is that correct?
Because the CBS's shittiness means nothing, really.
Yes.
But St. Brown was probably my MVP, I'd say, for last year's run. Kyrian Williams.
I had Wilson and St. Brown. I had to trade one of them.
All right. And lastly, we've got the infamous. I just actually was talking about this inside with my wife. I said, she's like, who are your friends? And I was like, telling her all the names. And I'm like, and there's cousin Dave.
Friends?
She's like, your cousin's in the league? And I'm like, no, his name's Cousin Dave. And she's like, why is his name Cousin Dave? And I'm like, it's a Northeast thing. I don't fucking know, babe. He's just been Cousin Dave since the day I met him. And I still call him Cousin Dave like 25 years later. So it's even more than that, like 30 years later. So
Marissa's side of the family, they don't even call me Dave. It's Cousin Dave. And then Will's friends, Mark's sons, friends, all call me Cousin Dave. Like, it's just like...
That's your name, dude. I don't call you Dave. Ever.
My daughter called Dave's girlfriend Cousin Gretel.
And there we go. I love it. So, welcome to the show, gentlemen. Doug, can you please bring up the infamous GNFA 2024 draft board? Dun dun dun.
Before you do that, Mike, who's been the longest tenured in the league? You, Doug, and Josh?
Yeah, Josh has been since day one. Doug, and I think
No,
Bernheim
there's
is
quite a
also-
few OGs, including you and Dave. I mean, you used to have the split team.
Mario had a team, and then I came in with Mario. But
You
I don't know
guys
if he
came
was-
in year 2, I think. Mark and
Oh.
Dave came in year 2.
We used
Really?
To be,
Yeah.
we were like co-managers, and then
Yeah, they didn't come year 1, I don't believe. Is that correct, Mark? Am I right about
Yeah,
that?
we were not in year one.
That does
You were-
sound familiar now that you say it. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Or-
I think
I
like
think
John,
Mario
I
might have
the,
drafted the year 1 team.
I probably have the record
Lucci
for most
and Ref were
rings,
in.
right? Of coming in. This is like my third go round. I
Yes.
think
Yeah. You've been in and out the most for sure.
not the most.
Yeah, you and Nick,
Yes.
but I think you.
How
Yeah,
is
I
Nick?
think this is number 3.
Yeah, this is your third go round, but we're happy to have you back.
Yep.
And so is CBS. But yeah, I think it's the three of us. It's me, Doug, and Josh have been here all 19 years. And Bernheim, I think, is the only other one that's been here all 19 years.
Yeah, Jed left. Who?
Jed
I
left
feel like
for a
we're forgetting
while.
something. Was
Brandon left a
Descalo
couple
always in?
times. No, Descalo came like year 4 or 5. But he's been in ever since he's been in. So
I might have been year 2 then, because I think Mario drafted the first year, and then I came in year 2 or 3.
yeah, you and Mark
That
I think
does
came year
sound
2.
familiar.
And you split a team for like 5 years because you didn't want your own team, cousin. You were too
Well,
scared to.
No,
To
the
do it on
one
your
year
own.
we were going to win the whole thing, and then we traded for Gronk, and he like got hurt. I remember that. We were like 13 and 1.
We had Peyton Manning that year, and
Yeah.
we were stacked.
And you named yourself Cursed. I definitely remember that.
Yes.
Then we
Yes.
broke up, and then Mark won, and then I think I won like one of the years after.
Yes, and it took like 3 years to get Mark to talk you out of being on the same team. Mark was trying with me for like 2 years to get you to get your own team, and Mark was like, "He won't do it, man. He just wants to do it with me." And I'm like, "God damn it, we need another manager. Dump Dave and tell him he's got to take his own fucking team." God, that seems like a decade ago because it definitely was more than a decade ago. We were such young bucks. So, anyway, without further ado, this is year 19, huh, Doug, that we did this?
This is year 19. I still have not found my successor. I cannot wait to quit this goddamn job. I'm just kidding. I love you guys. And yeah, dude, year 20 is going to be. It's going to be
I think
good.
we
We
gotta start
gotta get something going.
We got to start
Um,
politicking for you to hand the reins over to someone else.
I know. It's time. We need a fresh vision, but let's take a fresh vision at our draft. Do we want to look at the keepers first? We're going to get right into it. What do you guys think?
I think we can always revert back to the keepers, but I think we should
Yeah.
just go, right?
So
Do
can you
guys wanna
see?
look at
Are you
keepers?
guys good? Are you guys go to the view? I never know because I'm sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So do we want to do keepers, guys, or do we just want to go to round one? Let's take a vote.
I say we rip the shit out of the draft.
Absolutely.
Let's
Go right
And
for the
Let's
throat.
rip the shit out of the
and maybe if you made the pick in the first round, you talk about it first. So Houston's not here, but it's hard to hate on AJ Brown, number one, right?
No.
Nah.
Not hard?
Before we got here, we had a little post draft, and his explanation for this made sense. It's like I had to keep Travis. I did the Travis Henry thing. Derrick Henry as my franchise,
Hold on, guys. We're having a recording issue. Brandon, what browser are you linked up on?
An Opera. Let me
look at
go
this.
to.
It says please go to Chrome and then jump back on.
Sure.
Look at that face.
Brandon, would you stop?
Yeah.
Take a picture
Stop.
of that.
Brandon's gonna knock somebody
It's like-
out.
Serious cat is serious.
So we think we're good with him taking AJ Brown over Marvin Harrison.
I mean, it makes sense, right, guys?
He needs a
Not-
franchise
not
guy.
that-
That was his explanation, right? He wanted to have a guy he could keep after this year, and he felt like AJ was that guy. So I think it makes sense.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I mean, we talked about it last night. I think rookies get so overvalued in this league, and like me and Doug went back 2 nights ago and we looked through. There's never been a rookie first round wide receiver until today. So, it shows how the league has changed and how the NFL has changed and how our
How the
league
position has
changed.
changed.
And
Yeah.
the position has changed. So
So even Calvin Johnson wasn't a first rounder.
no, No,
Wow.
even back then, dude.
I don't have records going back that far. I don't know.
I
if you
can't
did, Mike,
imagine
but-
that he was, because we always put our money in running backs, because the fantasy's changed so much in the last 5
That is
years.
true. Back in
People were
those days,
drafting like a lot of quarterbacks too, really early.
You would
back
go
then.
to running
Were the
backs.
keeper rules
Yeah.
always the same back in the day? I don't remember.
Yes, that's one thing we never changed.
Okay.
We've
Yeah.
changed the compensation, but we've never changed the actual.
I actually, Mike, I remember you explaining these rules to us at a Mets game in like 06 for the next year, or 05 for the
Probably
next year,
sober.
or something like that. It's crazy, man. We're coming up on 20.
It is crazy. It's
I
some
mean,
staying power.
Yeah.
So we're good with AJ Brown. Okay, Brandon, take us through the fucking Marvin Harrison pick.
I mean, really, it just came down to the volume he's going to get in Arizona. Had to take him there. Obviously, the pedigree. I'll be honest with you though. Like for me, the Neighbors Harrison debate is a lot closer than it is, I think, for everybody else. I think most people have Harrison as 1, and Neighbors for me, it's 1A, 1B. And the reason why I went Harrison is because I think he's in a better situation right now. But I'm just as high on Neighbors as I am with Harrison as an overall talent. That was really close for me. So,
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it comes down to Daniel Jones. Like he fucking is, I think, the worst starting quarterback.
Temporary issue.
It is a temporary issue, but for fantasy purposes this year, that's
True.
a big issue.
you know what?
Thinking about that, right? And as a Jets fan, Mike, you know this. Gary Wilson had 2 of the worst quarterback situations the last 2 years, and had 1,000 yards in both seasons. It's like talent wins out at the end, right?
Yep.
So, like,
Sure.
They're going to throw
Yeah,
the ball
Mark-
down.
But I'm just
Out my
talking
mouth.
specifically if you're talking between Harrison and Neighbors, right? That's where I'm saying like Daniel Jones versus Kyler.
Yeah,
I'd much
I
rather
agree with
Kyler throwing the ball. So
But I think the Giants are going to throw the ball more down the field this year.
I agree.
they're
To
going
be
to be
honest with
trailing.
you, I wouldn't be shocked if their numbers are damn near comparable. I really don't think it's going to be as big of a difference as people might think. Even though I took Harrison, so I'm supposed to be defending this, but it can't be overstated how much better Neighbors is than everybody else in the Giants.
Yeah.
I mean, now that it's over, I'm thrilled that Neighbors dropped to me at 5.
Yeah. So,
Thrilled.
and the thing about Daniel Jones is like, all right, he's the worst starting quarterback in the league. We can just shit on him for however long we want to. But he wasn't bad, so bad where he couldn't get a massive contract, was he? 2 years ago. So
Well,
you're
that
telling me now with weapons galore, all this speed, he can't at least move the chains? Not saying the Giants are going to win, but he can put numbers up, and Neighbors can
Right.
benefit from that. So
Okay.
Isn't it fair to say though? I mean, Brandon, we're supposed to enjoy playing fantasy. Part of it's just having fun. You are a Cardinals fan, so if it's like close, like why wouldn't you rather watch Marvin Harrison on your favorite team, which I understand, versus Malik Neighbors? I think your argument's valid, and I think he has a better quarterback. But I mean, you're also a Cards fan, so like,
This
Oh,
why
is
not
true.
want to watch him all season, right?
this is true. Yep. But then there's also another side of me, which is, and I'll admit this, when it comes to fantasy sports and football, I love fucking being right. I love it. Fucking high.
Yeah.
And
Well said.
when I was saying for a whole half of college football season, Mike can tell you this, that Neighbors is as good as Harrison, if not better. Boy, I would love to puff my chest out and say, "Oh, I told you, Neighbors is better." So it's closer for me than people might think, just because, I am a Cardinals fan, but I do love Neighbors as a player, and if he ends up being better than Harrison, I'm going to bring it up like all the time. So
Right.
Cool. So, all right. So we got Harrison. We like these 2 picks. Now we got Etienne to Jed at number 3. How are we feeling about that? Anything good, bad, or ugly?
I like ETN.
I mean, he needed a running back. To me, it was the best running back available. I have no issue with that pick.
yeah, I think
Yeah, it was-
ETN is the only like absolute sure thing here as a running back. Where you're like, yep, he's going to be good. He's a franchise guy for the next couple of years. No problems.
He was the only running back I would have took in the first round.
I'll play devil's advocate. I would have taken Neighbors over ETN if both were available at 5. I do not like ETN's game log last year. I feel like he wore down. And honestly, I was also weighing the 3 years of Neighbors versus 1 year of ATN as well because of our league. That has to be factored in. But I was a little cool on ETN, and I was glad to see him go before me.
Doug, though, we talked about this earlier too. You were much more comfortable going 0 RB and taking the best available player. Where like both of these guys drafted for, well, not necessarily Jed because he had McCaffrey, but Tim next had no running back, right? Mm-hmm. So that I think was the reach. The Josh.
Well, I'm not saying.
So you guys don't like. So let's get to Jacobs then. You don't like Jacobs at 4?
No.
I would not have done that. No.
Really?
I think this. If I was Tim and I walked away with ETN at 4, passing on Neighbors, I would digest that a lot better. Walking away with Jacobs, knowing that's pretty much a 1-year deal, and then knowing Neighbors is going to. I mean, I'm just saying this. Neighbors is going to be phenomenal for the next however many years, decade. That's tough to digest.
I'm also uncomfortable with a player in a new system, new team. Just worries me.
You know, if you were to look at the history of the NFL, there's not that many guys who went to a team in the back end of their career as a free agent and put up big numbers. It just doesn't really happen that much.
All very well said there. Yeah, Mike, hang in there, man. We got to talk shit about Alvin Kamara at the next pick. Who wants to take this one?
I mean, it was a terrible pick. I am so happy it went off the board way before it got to me. I thought I was.
It's one of those where you're like,
yes. So, but we talked about this last week, Doug, or earlier this week. Like, this is what Descala does. He just takes like the best player on the top of the the
queue
rankings, right? And the queue, and like
whoever's rankings,
you're probably gonna hit more often than you don't hit when you.
I'm not. Yeah, he does a good job.
So I don't know, man. Like,
who were his keepers? Mahomes, Laporta, and who's the other one?
And I'll scroll up. I was just talking to him about this too.
So he was another guy that needed to take a running back, I believe.
Nico Collins. And by the way, Dave, I know you probably don't have a mic, but try to get a little closer. It's you're a little quiet.
Here's the thing, though, and listen, I'm not trying to defend Kamara at all, but let me ask this: if it's not Kamara in New Orleans, then who?
Oh, exactly.
We're hearing Kendry Miller is going to get cut.
It's not Kendry Miller. Yeah.
So what is the alternative?
It's Jamal Williams.
I mean, Jamal Williams is about.
Man, Mikey, just mute till you're good. It's all good, man. We got plenty of dudes.
Yeah, Jamal Williams. I just, that's not a fantasy buster. So Kamara's probably going to get his. As much as we're all shitting on this, he's
going to get
probably going to put his numbers up. And like I said offline here, I when I watch Kamara, I still think he has it. I just don't think they can rely on him and give him the volume that he used to get once upon a time. Don't expect those numbers. But he'll have a couple of splash weeks. There's no doubt about it.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, you're good. And what are we really talking about? I mean, he is going to be a good player this year unless he gets hurt, right?
Well,
so it might be a little bit of a reach, but we're talking a few picks.
Given his team situation, right? If he didn't take Kamara, who would we want him to take here?
I don't remember who his keepers were. Can you?
It's Nico, Laporta, and Mahomes.
So you need a running back.
Oh yeah, so he needed a running back.
Well, I mean, really, I think when you frame it that way, look,
it's not a terrible pick, but I don't
even
love
the
it.
draft itself spoke. There wasn't another running back around.
I would have rather taken Mixon over Kamara.
Oh, I would not.
I know you don't like Mixon,
but would you have taken Mixon at the 6th spot, Josh?
No. But if you had to take a running back,
but Josh, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
As a counter to that, by week 14, who do you think has a better chance of staying on the field? Do you think it's going to be Kamara or do you think Mixon?
Kamara's been getting hurt every year. He gets banged up.
You don't think Mixon could lose his job, though, just being inefficient?
Listen, I'll say this is that I think that Houston's offense is a lot better. I think that the defense is having to deal with Tank Dell, Nico Collins, and Stephon Diggs. The defensive boxes are going to be a lot lighter for Joe Mixon than they are going to be for Alvin Kamara. So I think the staying power of both guys who do get hurt and get banged up, I would rather bet on Joe Mixon over a team that has Derek Carr at the helm. And I don't know. I don't think I love both of them, but either of them. But
Well, I
agree.
agree with that point, but I just would ask you this though: are you not a little bit afraid that Cam Akers might actually be back, and he's better than Joe Mixon?
I'm not.
Listen, when Akers was coming out, I was excited. When he was coming out of Florida State, I was excited about him. I just think as of right now, I would just rather have Mixon in the Houston offense than I would have Kamara in New Orleans. I don't trust Carr. I know they have a new OC. I don't like Carr. I don't think he has any balls. I think he's a very mid quarterback. And if both guys are going to be banged up anyways, I'd rather have Mixon. That's it.
I think the one thing that you got, and I'm going to defend Mixon in the second round. I mean, we can get there when we get there, but at the 11th pick in the second round, I think it's a lot better value than in the 6th pick in the first round. But talk about goal line situation in both teams. Jamal Williams is going to get the goal line in New Orleans, and he's going to definitely vulture a bunch from Kamara. I think Mixon's getting the ball on the goal line in Houston.
Can I beat Mixon up just a little more though?
Sure, go for it.
Yes.
Do we not think the Bengals knew it was over?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. The Texans bring in Mixon, yet they still thought they needed to bring in Cam Akers.
And they still got Pierce.
I think Cam. Well, Pierce, I think is. I don't know. He turned into a fat piece of shit, but I think Akers they took a flyer on, and if he works out, great. And
they took a flyer on him, but like, did they need it? Unless they thought maybe Mixon's coming to the end. Maybe he's not. I mean, listen, we've all been watching Mixon for the last few years, saying, "Look how boring he looks. Look how he's not explosive anymore." Well, that's not going to change. I understand the situation is better and the offense is good, but wasn't the offense great in Cincinnati? So he was still boring there.
So he was last year was, with Browning and fucking Chase and Burrow going down.
Browning put up numbers, so it's not like they went dead.
Browning was pretty good.
In there. Browning was tremendous.
Yeah, but they put everyone in the box and dared Browning to beat him, and he played well. But it's not like Joe. It's the opposite of what Josh just said. I mean, they loaded up the box. They didn't have to. They were probably doubling T. Higgins, so it was like the Tyler Boyd show. And whoever the shit,
the yards per carry, even when Burrow was playing, it still wasn't great.
Their offense.
I'm out on Mixon. Let's put not to waste 20 minutes on Mixon.
Sure. Yeah. Let's get.
Wait. We're doing 4 hours tonight. It's all good.
Let's get to Chris Olave here. Dave, talk me through that.
I was undecided. My group of guys was Olave, Debo, Drake London. I don't know. I do like Debo, but I don't know. You got Ayuk there. Drake London, I really thought hard. I don't know. I just think Olave could break out this year. I want upside.
I'll defend this. I had him pretty high. Him and London pretty high. And it's, again, talent wins over, situation. So I do think it's a good bet.
Wait, as I have from personal experience, as the guy who drafted Olave when he came out and has had him for 2 years, I hate Derek Carr.
Yeah.
He is a bad quarterback. I'm sorry. Olave's great. If you put Olave with a really good quarterback, he is awesome. But you know what? He is not with a good quarterback. And they tied that guy up with so much money.
You don't think they're bonding? It's like, what, year 3
No,
now?
I don't think they're bonding. I've been waiting because Olave gets open. But Carr doesn't have the stones to throw the ball when he needs to throw the ball. He's terrible in the red zone. And
he is.
I couldn't. The reason why I kept Rachaad White this year over Olave is just I've been so frustrated with Derek Carr that even with the new OC this year, I just couldn't see it. And I think Olave is a good player as a wide receiver too. I don't think you're going to really regret it. But the thing is, like those big weeks that we've all wanted, or I've wanted since he came out of college, I just don't think you're going to see him. I don't. I think he's one of those players where at the end of the year, you're probably going to be pissed off that he's on your team, because how many weeks in a row can you get 8 points, 9 points, 11 points, and then it'll blow up for 16 points, you know? But
Yeah.
that's my personal bias. So maybe he blows up and maybe he's great, and that would be good for you. I just hate Derek Carr. So
I think all these four next wide receivers all have question marks, but
Yeah.
they're still good wide receivers. Like Debo has Ayuk there. To me, Ayuk is a better pure receiver than Debo. Debo's value would go up if Ayuk got traded. So there's that whole situation there. Drake London, we haven't seen it, but he's had horrible quarterback situations. So is Cousins going to turn it around? And then Mike Evans, is this year like the age thing is going to finally pop up, right? So there's something there, and I agree with you, Josh, with Carr, right? So there was something there with all four of those guys, but
Yeah.
to me, I don't think it's a bad pick at all.
no, it's not bad because he's gonna get you points. Like that's the thing. He's not gonna bust.
Right.
He just may not be as exciting as you're maybe hoping he's gonna be, and that's my problem with him, is that I just didn't want a third year of being like, okay, I've got this guy as my wide receiver too, but when does he ever win me weeks?
No, I think Josh makes a point right, because Olave, you're basically getting that 9 to 12 point range every week, and then you're going to have those splash weeks from Shaheed when he goes out and has his fucking 2 touchdowns or whatever it is. I'll be honest. So here, I don't think it's a bad pick, because at this point in the draft, you can't make a bad pick with the receivers here. But I actually think the guy who I would say, if you're going to ask me who's going to be the best receiver here, or you're most sure about, it's actually DJ Moore. All that dude does is deliver, and somehow he goes behind Mike Evans.
Yes.
Yes. I don't know.
Yes. Give me some more love. I love it.
Brandon, you're not supposed to do that on the show.
Doug is so fucking
Don't get him
pissed
started.
Yeah, I don't know.
I like me some me.
All those four wide receivers were grouped together, and I don't know. I was just looking at He had 138 targets last year. Olave.
Yeah.
No, it's not a slam. Olave's a fine pick. I would say more. It's more about Debo and Evans, to be honest with you, over DJ Moore. I could buy Drake London because of the youth and just the talent, the pedigree.
Well, Josh, talk about that one next. Actually, we'll skip Debo.
So Drake London, I had a bunch of guys I was looking at here. I actually really like Ayuk. I was thinking about Ayuk. I was thinking about Evans, but I mean, I love Ayuk. I do. I really do. And he was probably my other guy. But I said, if London's here, I mean, I just think that the upgrade, because I didn't have a round 2 or round 3 pick, I wanted who's the best young guy who has an opportunity to explode and bust out. And so I took Drake London. The thing is, I know he hasn't done it, but he had Desmond Ridder. Desmond Ridder is awful, and we know that he has the talent. So why not take him? I love Ayuk. I think Ayuk is in a crowded situation. I still think he's going to put up 1,300 yards this year. But I just wanted the guy with Kirk Cousins, the upcoming guy. I just wanted to see what happened.
The thing I like about London too is even if Cousins gets hurt, I'm a big believer in Penix Jr. And with Penix's arm, London downfield, like that could be a wonderful connection. I love that Drake London pick though. That's good.
Yeah, I do too. He was high on my board, higher than 9th for sure. Do we want to talk about Debo, or is it Mike time?
I
DJ
do,
Moore.
I'm curious. I like. What's the room's feeling on Debo in 2024? Where are you guys at with him? I have to be honest. When I'm comparing Debo to Ayuk, I'm Ayuk all day.
Debo to me is not a wide receiver.
Yeah, like he had a bunch of rushing touchdowns, right? Like 5.
I think Mark said it best, right? Like you took Debo assuming Ayuk's going to get dealt. And that's why that makes sense to me. Otherwise...
You know what, though, Mike? If I can counter that real quick. If Ayuk gets traded, that doesn't make Debo any more of a polished wide receiver. It just doesn't. Like, he still is what he is. I think it actually changes the fortunes of, like, Pearsall and some of the other guys on that team would elevate in status at that position. But Debo still is what he is. And I think as he's getting older and he's getting more hits, he's not as dynamic as he used to be.
And don't you think, Brand, like the Niners feel the same way because they're trying to keep Ayuk and not trade him and like offer him a contract? Like they don't want to lose him, right? Because they don't think Debo's the same sort of guy.
No,
I think
they have also you got CMC. That takes away from what Debo does. You still have Elijah Mitchell there. They drafted another running back this year. I just feel like the Debo, thing is kind of like 2 years past its expiration date of like going upwards. It's starting to go downwards.
Debo had 37 carries last year, by the way. Are we taking the under on that?
I would take the under on that, especially when you drafted another running back. Like to me, that's like we're going in another direction.
He had 5 rushing touchdowns too. That's regressing.
To make that pick and pass on Drake London and DJ Moore, and Ayuk for that matter, and Cooper Kupp and Jalen Waddle, as you see him go down the screen, I would say that's borderline egregious.
Can I say something about Ayuk too? Ayuk, one of the reasons why I love Ayuk is the same reason why I love Devonta Smith. Because what are you supposed to do as a wide receiver? Get open. What does Ayuk do? He gets open. That's the whole point of what we're trying to do here is to get open. So in Kyle Shanahan's system, you got all these guys flying around. Ayuk's always going to get open, and he's good after the catch. He's a better receiver. He's just a technician, and he's.
You stole my thunder on Devontae Adams.
He's good.
Thank you.
I love Devonta Smith, and I love Brent Ayuk for the same reason. They're always going to be open all the time, and it's important. Ayuk, Samuel's a good player, but you know what? He's not the technician. He's not the guy that you'll be able to ride for the next decade.
And to your point, Josh, he's not the technician. He's not that kind of guy, and the minute that athleticism slows down, it's going to come to a screeching halt and it's going to be over.
Absolutely.
All right, Mike. Let's hear the DJ Moore love.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, I mean, it was between Ayuk, Kupp, and DJ Moore. If I was targeting the two guys I was targeting here was Olave and DJ Moore, and I started questioning myself when all these guys like started flying off the board, and DJ Moore was like a little bit down the rankings, and I'm like, fuck this, dude. The guy put up almost 1,000 yards last year with fucking Justin Fields as his quarterback, and now he's got
think about that for a second.
The best, one of the best quarterback prospects to come out in a long time, delivering him the ball, and he's got a better offense, and he's got some, he's got Keenan Allen and Adunze, and he's got Swift now. So that offense, even though you may hate on those guys individually in some sort of way, you could double more, but I don't know if that's going to lead to like a positive thing for the defense playing the Bears. I think the Bears have the potential to be a very dangerous. And DJ Moore's proven he can fucking, to your point, Josh, get open. He's just had terrible quarterback play for so fucking long.
But he was good with all those years with terrible quarterbacks. He's always been good.
He's always good.
It was a touchdown issue, and last year he blew up.
1,300.
It's very Larry Fitzgerald, like 10 years ago, where Fitzgerald was stuck with those horrible quarterbacks. He'll put up numbers, but then when Carson Palmer came to town, what did he do? He rejuvenated and was like elite again. Yeah. I don't know what DJ Moore has to do to get people to recognize how good this guy is.
Yeah,
I think they're going to find out this year. I think he's going to go. And I think he's going to outplay his draft capital right here. And I can't say enough about this.
96 receptions, 1,364 yards, 8 touchdowns last year.
Yeah, and the Bears recognized it, right? They paid him.
Yeah, they paid him, and they brought in all these other guys, but this guy, DJ Moore, is going to be Caleb's number one target.
Can we get Mike Evans' stats real quick, Dave? Because I'd like to see why Mike Evans is getting picked over DJ Moore.
He did have a monster year, if you don't recall.
He did have a monster year, but
he just catches so many touchdowns.
He had 1,300 yards and 10 or 12 touchdowns.
Yeah, it was the yards I was surprised by, right?
13 touchdowns, 79 receptions, 1,255 yards.
And
1,200 yards.
He's like 32.
He's 31.
Oh yeah, he's up there.
He's one of the reasons why I made it to the finals last year. I got him in the 4th round last year, and he ended up being my number one receiver and carried me when fucking Jefferson was down. But I don't trust another year like that coming off of 31. He's not the fucking speed guy. He's the jump ball guy, and
right.
He's getting old, right? So,
Although, I mean, like, the yardage is more than you thought, right? 1,200 yards is nothing to sneeze at.
No, but DJ Moore had more, didn't he?
Yeah.
1360.
And we still see Evans picked ahead of him with
Yep.
Caleb coming in. How much more confident?
Oh, I agree with you there. I'm not defending that.
Yeah. Can Baker do it again? We'll see.
yeah, and Baker lost his own offensive coordinator. That I think is a big deal that nobody's talking about. I don't know who replaced him in Tampa, but Canales,
Cohen, a guy from Sean
the guy from Kentucky. Yeah. Dave Canales is. I think the Panthers are going to actually be really good this year. Not really good, but like they're going to take a decent step forward because Dave Canales, I think, is a quarterback whisperer and a very underrated offensive mind. And
I like Evans. I like Evans. In our sister league in Dynasty, I offered Pittman for Evans and got turned down. So, I mean, that just goes to show you. I like Evans more than I like Pittman. So,
what are we feeling, Mark, about Josh Allen? Talk to me about that pick.
Yeah, so on my board, I had those exact 5 receivers who went above.
It was quite the run right there, wasn't it?
So once those 5 receivers left, I told myself.
So you were taking DJ
wait,
Moore if I didn't take him.
You had all 5 receivers before?
Yep.
Wow.
So I told myself that with the keepers I was in the position that I could just pick best available, right? And that's what I was going to do, and I knew that wasn't going to be a running back. So to me at this point, I knew I was picking early in the second round. There's the group of 4 receivers that you see here right behind. So to me, it was important to jump up and grab the best quarterback that I could at that point because there was a danger of a run and Allen and Hurts going right away. And I think there was a tier break there.
Yep.
Knowing that those 4 receivers were still going to be there. Now, do I have concerns about the Buffalo offense? Yes. Do I think Allen's going to run more? Yes. Do I think he's good enough to make receivers? Yeah, I think Shakir will be really, really good. So I have a little bit of trepidation, but I think we'll see more with his legs that'll make him worth it at the end of the day.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think, listen, Mark, at worst, Allen finishes what? QB3?
Yeah.
And the thing was, you had so many picks. You had enough picks, and look, you were going to pick again in 4 more picks, and I think it's a good move. I mean, you locked up a guy who, it probably at worst is QB2. I think it was a good pick. I think you got a guy you don't have to worry about for the rest of the year. You don't have to worry about it for the rest of the draft.
I mean,
it's nice.
Brandon, would you have taken Josh Allen there in the next pick?
Would I have taken? No, because my keeper was C.J. Stroud.
Oh, that's right. And then
so I was all in on running back receiver.
And then Eric had a quarterback, right? He had Love, and then And then did Jed have? I guess so.
Yeah, he has Richardson.
Yeah, so technically you could have taken him in the second round unless there was a trade and taken.
Oh, he did just Sherlock you there.
Yeah, it's true. I didn't even look at that.
I just figured it out now. Yeah.
If you were to know what you know today, or now, an hour later, of course you probably would have took Ayuk 12, and then you would still been able to get Allen at 16. But we don't know that in the moment. But
I'm just doing it out. But there obviously could be trades.
No, we appreciate that. Anyone want to talk about? I mean, are we doing Ayuk again?
No, I think we beat that to death.
So Cooper Kupp, is Cooper Kupp way too high here or no?
No,
I think it's a good value pick. He's
solid
just
pick.
Old man. You're dealing with injury risk. That's
risk
all.
Reward pick.
Well, all right. Well, what timeout, Mike? Let's. Problem with Cooper Kupp here is like, all right, is he still the best receiver on that team?
No, you got to fight. You got to fight with Puka now.
You got to fight with Puka now. Okay, so now if he's the number 2, is he a better number 2 than Jalen Waddle is?
I like this line of questioning.
I mean, I think Cooper is a 1B. I think Waddle's probably a solid 2. So I think it's a toss up. I don't think. I'm not going to shit on him for passing on Waddle for Kupp or Kupp for Waddle.
What about? I mean, you have Devontae Smith. I almost.
I, as a Kupp owner, the last couple of years, I think we cannot overlook the amount of injuries this guy's had last year.
Lower
And
body.
by the way, we're
That's
giving
why I
Evan
didn't look
shit,
at him.
but he's 31 too.
Right.
Cup.
Yeah, lower body
Yeah.
injuries at that.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
So,
why I wasn't
to me,
even like
he
on my
was a no
board.
draft for me just because
Yeah.
of the injuries.
Agreed with the Puka and the injuries. If there was no Puka, maybe, but with Puka and the injuries,
Josh,
it's
that
just,
means you finish your beer. Cat on the screen. Sorry, I got to make the rules.
and so I think that's enough on Cup. What do what's your point on Waddle though, Brandon? You seem to be high on him.
I've always been on high on Waddle. I think it's again the pedigree, elite talent.
Yeah.
And I understand that Tyreek Hill is there, but at some point, what's going to happen, and it could be this year for all we know, is kind of like when we had that Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne thing, and then one day we woke up and it was Reggie Wayne and Marvin Harrison. It's going to happen. Waddle is that good. He's going to surpass Tyreek at some point. And that could happen now. So you want to be early than late.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. Mark, talk us through Devonta here.
Yeah, like I was really happy he dropped there. Like I think he's a great receiver. Echo everything Josh said earlier. He's on a great offense with a good quarterback. To have him as my wide receiver 2 next to Brown, I was really, really excited about that. He was probably second on my list behind Ayuk out of this grouping. So yeah, like to me, no brainer pick at that point.
And I think too, Devonta actually took a little bit of a bump with the Dotson trade. Now I know some people say, "Well, now Dotson's going to get more looks," but I just think now it's just another problem on the offense.
Yep.
And as we said before, if Devonta can do anything, is he can get open. That field is going to be even more spread out. Good luck trying to cover this guy.
Yeah, and now he's like entrenched as the 2 on the outside. He's not trying to play slot, which is something that they were trying to shoehorn him into because of his body size. But he's better on the outside, as he's proven throughout his career, and he's comfortable there, and he's been there the last 2 years. So why fucking try and make him a slot now? And now
100%.
they just ended that by picking up Dotson.
100%.
So, okay, Doug, talk us through Jalen.
Yeah, man. So you guys just saw the wide receiver run that happened. I was prepared to take another wide receiver, even though I had 0 running backs. But at this point, after all those guys left, especially Ayuk and Waddle, who I liked a lot this year, no shade on Devontae. I just had him last year, and I see it too. But at this point, since I had 2 seconds, this was a luxury pick, and I have not gotten to do this in this draft, in this league, in a long time, because I'm usually like low on picks somehow, even though I always suck. So I am more than happy to finally take, like, for the first time in a very long time, a quarterback here. And again, we were just talking about how they added Dotson. You know, Barkley's there, sure. The rushing touchdowns are going to come down, but I don't think I need to worry about Jalen Hurts in my quarterback spot right there. And I didn't have to think about that position for the rest of the draft. So fire away.
And I think Mark nailed it earlier. Like, there's a tier break here,
Yep.
and so you got the second best quarterback in the draft. I think in general, like even with the keeper guys.
I'll give a shout out to Dave. I would not have minded if I got Lamar on that. What pick is that? 21 instead, and took another receiver. I was cool either way. But yeah, this worked out well for me.
Yeah, I think that's hindsight speaking. But to me, there's a clear demarcation point for wide receivers. Devonta Smith, DK Metcalf. That's to me, okay. Now we have a break here. You might as well go Hurts, because if you don't, you don't know how this is going to play out. And then if Hurts goes and Jackson goes, then
I'm not feeling good.
So no, I think
then you're taking fucking Najee Harris.
No, not doing that. Who wants to take? Oh no, DK Lamar. Dave, you want to talk about Lamar?
Yeah, I wanted a quarterback that could run too. So obviously, I went into the draft where I was picking in the second round. I wanted Allen, Hurts, or Lamar. So I was thrilled. I just looked. I didn't realize he had 800 rushing yards last year. He had 821 rushing yards last year. So
Working
I
run.
don't
I
think
think-
anybody can criticize Lamar Jackson in terms of fantasy football. In
Yeah.
real football, I can criticize him all day, but
Yep.
for fantasy,
I mean, look at the rest of the round. Though.
Playoff football, right?
I wasn't
Yeah,
taking
playoff
I wasn't taking a running back in this round, and I did think about Connor. I do like Connor, but I wanted one of the quarterbacks.
God.
I always feel like I'm waiting for a quarterback in this league.
Dave, did
Yeah.
you want Najee Harris? Is that who you wanted?
No, I'm telling you, if
So-
they give Warren the ball, he will be the guy.
Like he's the starter, right? If he's not hurt.
They're still
Oh.
saying Najee, but
No, Najee's the starter, and Warren's hurt.
no, he
Warren's
said
going to be
he's
the
gonna
third down
fine.
guy.
They say he's gonna be fine.
I mean,
I got to
he's-
be honest. So, like the three, he had Angry X has 3 picks in this round. I don't really like any of these picks. I
No,
mean,
they're all shitty. I was thinking the
so
same
for
thing.
me with DK, like I'm actually higher on Smith and Jigba going into this year than I am DK, and they're about 8 rounds separated, I think.
Yeah,
Najee,
DK is a poor man's Mike Evans,
It's a good
and
comparison.
he's just he either has to catch a touchdown or he's kind of useless. He's not like
Yeah,
he's always
honestly,
like 364 and a touch or 364 and no
he's
touch.
a tight end.
dude, Mark is right on that because, like, dude, even to call him a poor man's Mike Evans, it's like a poverty version of Mike Evans.
It's like
He
the crackhead
doesn't
Mike
do
Evans.
what Mike Evans does. He's a superior athlete, unbelievable. But has Metcalf gotten better at any point? Like,
No.
it just feels like he's been stuck for the last 3-4 years.
It
All
does. Does
all he
anybody
can
have
do
his
is run
yards
the
last
fucking
year?
team.
I feel like he does put up
I don't
yards.
think he had 1,000. I think he had like 950
Wow.
yards, but Dave,
No.
fact check.
I mean, but with the writing on the wall of the offensive coordinator they brought in, this is going to be the JSN show. That's what I think.
He was 1,100 yards and 8 touchdowns last year.
Yeah, you know what, though? In
I mean,
17
that's still
games,
damn
though,
good.
17
66
games, that's not that impressive anymore.
66 receptions on
You
119
know,
targets.
That's not 16 games, though, guys. Like 17 games now, 1,100 yards. That's good, but it's not like elite for a guy who's supposed to be in his physical prime.
He
I
only
mean,
not-
66 receptions is not good.
Yeah, he's not getting
That's-
better.
119 targets.
So let's lump in here and shit on Najee Harris as well. Come on.
Oh, we'll love to do that. I think this is already like the Najee Harris hate club as it is, so let's go.
Yep.
I mean, the fact that I traded him for a first round 2 years ago, genius. But he stinks, and
Yeah.
he
Last year,
can't
right?
gain more than 3 yards on.
I think
any
he's
carry.
the slowest starting running back in the NFL.
They're not gonna. He's a contract year, right? It's his last year.
Yes.
Yeah. They didn't pick up his 5th, so that's it. Look, I thought Najee Harris was overrated coming out of college. I was very clear on how I felt about that. And then his first year, everyone got fooled because he was a volume monster. But he actually wasn't good. If you watch the games, he just wasn't good. That's all he's ever been is he benefited from volume. This is it. This is his last hurrah. He's going to go after this year, wherever he goes, and he won't be a starter after this. So this
Right.
is a
He'll
one.
be, he'll be a goal line back wherever he goes after this. And
I don't even
he'll
know
be
if he has a nose for that.
He'll fall.
Be
He'll
honest.
be like Jamal Williams, like he'll have a second fucking breath of fresh air, but he's still not going to be fantasy relevant after this year. And then let's just shit on Keon Coleman while we're here.
Yep.
I think this was way too
Oh
high.
boy. Yeah.
Reach.
I mean,
He could have got Keon Coleman in the 5th, 6th round. I think maybe the.
but like, where the hell did Rome and Brian Thomas go? Right? Like, what is going on?
Way later.
I
way
mean,
later.
you know,
Way later, right?
actually, could we take a peek real quick at
Yeah.
round 3? Because I just want to see the receivers that went after Keon. And
Rice, Diggs,
I mean,
Higgins, Kirk.
I mean, not for nothing, how
Cooper.
George Pickens being separated by like 14 picks between him and Keon Coleman. I get Coleman's a rookie, but pump the brakes with the rookie thing for a minute. Stats have to matter at some point.
Right.
I don't think I would have took Coleman until like the 7th round.
No way.
I'm not.
I think he's super unproven, and until
Yep.
he starts playing on Sunday and we see what the Bills' offense looks like I didn't want anything to do with the Bills' offense. So I think it's gonna function, but we just don't know who's gonna function, right? So
In all honesty, for a receiving class that I'm super high on, Keon Coleman is one of the guys I'm least certain about. So.
Yeah.
So
What,
safe to say we love John's draft, huh?
No, I don't think we did. But somehow he'll probably be like 9 and 6
I'm looking at
or
his
whatever.
roster. His running backs are Najee Harris, Kamara, David Montgomery, and DeAndre Swift.
That's like a 2019 bomb squad.
Yeah, like it's not scary.
This
His
year.
receivers
No.
are Keon Coleman, Nico Collins, DK Metcalf, Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen, DeAndre Hopkins.
Nico's the only one that excites me there. Everything
Yeah,
else,
he's just throwing a ton of shit at the wall. But I mean, that was a lot of draft capital that he used tonight, and
Wait,
not sure about the results, right?
How do you take Keon Coleman over Rashee Rice? Like, what
Right.
the fuck? What the fuck?
He just had so many picks. He didn't care.
It doesn't.
So
He had
Doug,
the-
let's
yeah.
talk, let's
That's
talk
a
about
shitty excuse,
Devontae,
though,
Doug.
Mike.
Let's talk about Devontae.
I'd love to talk
Sean-
about Devontae, like guys that can get open. I know it's been like a decade, but we're talking either him or Zay or my third wide receiver here. So I'm feeling pretty good. Like at the bottom of the second, Devontae Adams, sign me up.
what's Devontae Adams' stats last year? Anyone got those?
He had a ton of
Cousin
targets.
Dave, you're a stat boy. You're a stat boy.
I had Adams last year, and this is my concern, right?
Okay.
Now, mind you, there's a different quarterback this year, but he had a couple big splash games. He had a huge game in the playoffs.
Yeah, no, you're right. I have him in
He had
Dynasty, by the way.
A lot of very poor games.
Yeah.
Now, you could say that Minshew's going to turn that around. I'm not a believer, right? Minshew will give you a couple really good games and then a bunch of duds. He's a backup quarterback. That's what he is. So my concern is not with Adams. My concern is with the quarterback situation. And I do think there's a high probability they're going to trade Adams. And then what situation is he in? Now, as a wide receiver 3 and then the spot you're in, I think the value is there. But those are my concerns about the player.
Oh, sure. Like it's not a pick I was thrilled to make, but
he had 100. He had 103 receptions last year, 1,144 yards and 8 touchdowns.
How many yards?
He's going to get you
How many yards?
1144.
1144 and 103 receptions.
yeah, man. I mean,
He's going to
So
have
here's the reason why I asked that question, because I already knew the numbers, but I just want to have it be said. Why do we look at Devontae Adams here at the back end of the second round and kind of feel sick to our stomach about it, but we're so ready to draft Mike Evans
right
a round ahead when Devontae did that with Aiden freaking O'Connell at quarterback? Okay, what's the difference, guys?
Thank you.
Devontae is going to be just fine with Gardner because Minshew. I agree with you, Mark.
Chucks
is a
the ball.
backup, but he propped up Michael Pittman last year and put Michael Pittman. So he does target his number one receiver a lot, and I do think Devontae will. Right here is great value.
And think about the game scripts; they're going to be throwing a lot,
especially as your third receiver. I do agree with you though, Mark. He is going to get traded. And where is he going to go? Who knows? Because I think the Raiders are going to be bottom 5 in the league this year. They just don't.
Are the Jets finally going to get him? I mean, that's been the rumor for 18 years.
You know what though? So what argument are we making though here, right? So wherever Adams goes, that's going to be a better situation theoretically, right? Now, so I mean, we can only say it's going to go up from here.
Right.
Look. I'll say this: maybe Rice was the better pick here at receiver, but that's about it for me. I do think he'll outperform Diggs.
I think
I
you
would
got
probably
Devontae.
fight back on that. I think Devontae is better than Rice.
Definitely. I think you got. I think
Yeah,
you got
that's why I said
great
maybe.
value here.
So
I think you got great value here. I don't think there's. I mean, it's a no-brainer. You had this guy fall to the bottom of the second round,
yeah.
and there's nothing wrong with this pick, in my opinion.
So talk to us about Joe Mixon, man.
We already did Mixon, but
yeah, we did.
We can do it again if you'd like.
No.
And by the way, I thought about Connor just to get a running back, but I didn't.
No.
Yeah.
All right, actually, I do want to ask one question. The last Mixon question of the day. Mike, why Joe Mixon over James Conner?
I like the Texans offense better than the fucking Cardinals offense. And I think I had Connor last year and he gets banged up. And I think that he's not going to have as many receptions as he did last year because they brought in, they had DeMarcado or whatever the fuck his name is, start playing as the third down back when he went out. And then when he came back, you know this. The DeMarcado stayed as a third down back, and Connor was only doing first and second downs. So, just Connor's just always fucking hurt. Really, just the team.
So you're at that point. Connor's at the end of the line. You feel?
I think Connor's going to fall off the ledge this year. I think Mixon could, but I also think if he has 1 year left in him in that offense, he could fucking also blow up this year and have one more good year. So at the back end of the second round, it was, with all these other guys that went after, I was willing to take that risk.
Fair.
I think
Brandon talked.
I think Mixon is good. I think Mixon's good at the end of the second. The only thing I might have thought about doing was Brooks. If you could just last the first 3-4 weeks, is that Brooks was sitting right there. I thought Brooks was going to go in the first, but that's it.
I did too.
I think Mixon's fine right there. I think Mixon's is cool
So
right there.
I'm not the biggest Mixon guy, but I will say this, or I'll ask everyone: how many receptions do you think he had last year?
He had
60?
like 36 or something.
No. 52 receptions. He caught.
Yeah, no, he gets the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he had over 1,000 yards rushing. I know different teams, but better offense, I think.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with this at this point in the draft. I really don't.
Oh no.
If he was there at the next pick, and you were still picking there, would you have taken him
Me?
instead of Connor?
Oh.
You, yeah.
No, that's Tim. Oh, if I was there?
Yeah, well, I mean,
No,
it was your pick at one point.
Just not me, because I had Pacheco and Carrion, and I was very happy with that too. So I was never going to prioritize running backs in this draft because I just don't think there was a lot of quality there. So I was going to draft where the quality was, which is receiver, and stack up there.
I think Mixon's a really good RB2, and that's what you needed them to be. So
Yeah.
I think
exactly.
I'm probably
High end.
most down on him just because I feel like the sand is running out of the hourglass. And I know the numbers were fine last year. They were. But I also am a firm believer in, why didn't the Bengals want him anymore?
Well, they
does anybody know how the Texans line is? Because the Bengals line was always an issue with Mixon.
I mean, Devin Singletary ran for almost 1,000 yards behind the Texans line last year. So,
Yeah, that's fair.
so it's not bad. So let's talk about that Brooks pick, though.
Yeah.
Hey, come on, let's hear about it.
On to round 3.
Yeah, I mean, so obviously, to me, he was the number one running back in the draft. Obviously, the torn ACL scares you a little bit, but that's why he ended up in round 3. Because if he didn't, he's a first-round pick.
It's probably the number one overall pick.
He would, yeah. I mean, that's exactly what it would have been.
Yep.
So for me to walk out of here with Marvin Harrison and Jonathan Brooks, if you would have said that a full year ago that you're going to get the number one receiver and the number one running back in the draft, you'd be like, oh, you had 2 first-round picks. No. So
and then you could keep both.
Potentially, we'll see what happens, right? So,
Yep.
I think he's the best pure runner out of the rookie running backs. You're just going to have to see how he bounces back from the torn ACL. It might not happen all at once, so we'll have to wait, be a little patient. But if he can have some boom games towards the end of the year, I'll be happy with that.
Yeah.
And you have your Hubbard insurance, right?
I got my Hubbard insurance. Yeah.
There you go.
So you locked up the Panthers backfield,
Which I'm not exactly excited when you word it that way, locking up the Panthers.
I will go back to
That's
it.
the
though.
backfield you want.
I think Canales is going to do a good job down there, and I think it'll be decent. And Chuba was good last year on a fucking team that couldn't even throw the ball more than 5 yards.
He was serviceable.
Yeah,
But
let's not go crazy.
It wasn't good. It was serviceable. And here's my problem, though. I understand there's the excitement of the new system here, but it's not going to change my problem with Carolina quarterback
Bryce Young.
He's still too freaking small. It's not a matter that he's short. He's small. He's like 185 pounds. I don't think he's built for the NFL. I don't.
Is
I agree.
Jaden Daniels?
I mean, Jaden Daniels is 6'5", at least.
Jaden Daniels is 6'5".
6'4".
He is tiny though.
He's
in terms of
like
body.
6 feet tall, maybe 6'1".
Yeah, I don't think
Dave,
he's 6'5".
stat boy me here. How tall is Jaden Daniels?
He's
I would
6'5".
think
Where are you
he's-
getting 6'5",
I
man?
don't think so. I think he's
6'4",
about
6'3"?
6'2", maybe.
You're thinking of
But
Richardson.
He's definitely under 200 pounds. And so going back to our sister league, that was the main reason why I passed on Daniels in the first round. I'm very concerned
He's
about his size.
6'4", by the way.
He's
He's
6'4".
6'4".
Is he?
I mean, I was
No
off
shit.
by an inch.
But he is under 200 pounds. And there's not a lot of guys in the history of the league who's been good, who's been under 200 pounds.
210, it says. 6'4", 210.
I think that's bullshit.
With Pats.
Frankly.
That's fine, but talk about Bryce Young. I will say this about Bryce Young, and yes, I'm fucking hoping I'm right because I picked up your scraps off the fucking waiver wire. But Canales did what he did with Baker, and Baker's 5'11". I mean, he is built like a shit brick house. That's a little bit different.
Yes.
But, you know,
It's not
Baker's,
the height, because I have no problem with Kyler Murray's height. I had no problem with Drew Brees' height. It's not the height. It's the body type. He's small.
Yeah, he's like a point guard. He's tiny.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay.
Now, if Bryce Young were to play flag football, he'd be the greatest flag football player of all time. No question about
Well,
it.
the
But in
the
the NFL,
Olympics
they
in
go
4
get
years.
the gold medal. But I
Yeah.
have durability.
So we got fucking EB
Imagine
with
losing to
Andrews here.
France in flag football in the Olympics. Or some shit.
Imagine fucking losing to Australia in breakdancing. Did we all see that girl? That poor lady.
No, God, dude, that I believe. Aussies are fucking nuts.
Did
But,
you
yeah, actually, breakdancing is big.
I
now,
got
man.
a 0.00 from Australia.
Yeah, what was her
Yeah.
name?
Ray Gunn.
Ray-
Oh, Ray Gun.
Reagan.
I thought she was famous because she was good. She got a 0-0.
No, she was unbelievably horrible.
Oh, okay,
Dude,
yeah.
she tried to she choreographed this breakdancing routine to be a kangaroo, and it was this dude. It was so ridiculous. She got 0 points for it, and then the entire internet has trolled her for the last month, and she
Yeah,
can't.
it's been bad.
She can't understand why. But anyway, look it up. It's. I'll
No,
find it.
I've seen the picture, this thing, right?
Yeah. But there was way more to it than that. Anyway, enough of that. Mark Andrews, we good on that? That was a fine pick in the round 3, right? No
Yeah,
issues
fine,
with that?
whatever.
You know, I
Rashi
honestly
Rice.
have a question about that, Mark Andrews.
Sure.
I'm not saying it's not a good pick, but just more, let's have a discussion real quick. Do we still feel Andrews is in his prime? Does it not feel like he
No.
gets hurt a lot?
No, I
Do they
don't
have
think.
No, but he's one of those guys that proves us wrong when we think that. So I'm
He's
gun
also
shy.
Lamar's outlet. He always finds
Yeah.
a open zone.
But,
But
I mean,
I think likely is like we were talking about Reggie Wayne and fucking
yeah, I was about
Marvin
to say that.
Harrison. I think
Oh,
likely
okay.
is going to overtake him this year, and who I think Josh got him in round
Yeah.
12.
At a certain point, right? What are you saying? That likely's on the field more. He's going to have more gas in the tank. Legs are fresher.
Okay.
Yeah, Andrews becomes the fucking the post up in the red zone. So yeah, he's going to be a
Mhm.
touchdown vulture, but I think the days of him having 8 catches and 100 yards and a touchdown are over. He'll probably have 3 catches and 40 yards, and maybe if he has it, he'll be touchdown dependent. That's what I think. I mean, maybe
Yeah,
it's
and then-
next year.
So to criticize this pick a little bit more, then, so a year from now, are we going to be looking at it and saying, "Oh my God, we took Mark Andrews over, Kyle Pitts"?
I think so. But you are a Kyle Pitts lover, so we got.
Well, I think we all should be. Kyle Pitts came into the league as what? Something we've never seen before. The greatest receiving tight end prospect in history. And he was just stuck behind a bad situation. Now, we just excused Drake London there and picked him in the fucking first round.
Sure.
Yet we're still taking Kyle Pitts behind Mark Andrews and George Kittle.
That's a damn good point.
I like that. Where did Kyle go? Oh,
Where?
yeah. Look at that.
there we
Down to
go.
round 5.
That's a great pick at round 5.
Yeah, Jed had
Yeah.
a good draft, I have to say. Yeah, let's keep going. So Rashi Rice, this was fucking your brother's first pick, Doug, I think, right?
And honestly, it's not a bad one because it's keeper eligible too. If he's rebuilding, why not, right?
Sure, why not? Nothing, the only thing I don't like about Rashi Rice is his average depth of target is the lowest in the league. He's basically a fucking swing pass for Mahomes, but he gets a lot of targets. So in PPR, it's not terrible. But I think with all the other weapons that they've added, I don't think he's going to have as big of a year this year as he did last year. But that's just me.
Yeah, probably.
What?
Every receiver other than Tyreek has kind of shit the bed in this offense, right? Until him last year. So I like him a little more than that.
What do we all think of Diggs?
Very down on Diggs.
Me too.
I
It's
think
just
he fell off the cliff. I think he's a prima donna, and I think that if he can go to Houston and be the number 2 guy and accept that role and not be a distraction, it's a good spot for him. But I don't know if he can do that because he wasn't able to do that as the number 1 guy, still bitching in fucking Buffalo.
Well, here's my question though, Mike. How can he be the number 2 guy? Can he accept that? How am I trying to word this? How can he become the number 2 guy when he's the 3rd best receiver on the team, probably? And
Sorry, I mean he's going to play.
No,
the
I don't mean that as a
2.
dig at you. I mean that more just with him, where it's like if he doesn't get to be the number 2 guy, is he going to throw a shit fit and be completely useless then? Because Tank Dell is better than him. Nico Collins is better than him.
Yeah, CJ has a lot of targets to look at.
Yeah. And 2 of those guys he's already comfortable with. Now you're bringing in an older guy with a shit attitude who's going to feel this sense of entitlement, and he's not going to be the first or second look. He's just not.
No.
I don't trust.
But is he going to be? Is he going to be the red zone guy? Is he going to be the guy that gets open in the red zone that CJ starts trusting? That he's probably going to be touchdown dependent as well, in my opinion. He'll have like 3 for 44 and a touch, or 3 for 44 and no touch.
He's still a good red zone target.
Yeah, but he's getting older, and
he's a dickhead.
He's a dickhead. I don't know.
So
speaking of getting older,
Doug, it's my first running back, guys. Look, I've always been
a lot of shit, but that dude can play.
Yeah, dude, I've always been ride or die with Aaron. I'm not going to even sweat this pick if it doesn't work out.
No, he'll be the 1A. Did you also get Ty Chandler, or did you just roll with?
No, I don't care.
Yeah.
Okay. No, but whatever I was doing, I didn't.
He's going to be the starting running back in Minnesota. He should be able to put up points. Ty Chandler's going to get his touches too, though. So
I mean, I think especially with Sam, Aaron Jones can catch the ball.
Yeah,
and he's a tough runner. He can handle the goal line. Look at the running backs who are left at this point. This worked out for me. I'm very happy with my draft.
I will say the Aaron Jones from the Minnesota Vikings standpoint, it's gonna be very interesting how they approach this, because I think when you brought Aaron Jones in, the idea is we're gonna save him a little bit, and then we're gonna unleash him come playoff time. Well, that might not even be a thing anymore. So now, how does Aaron Jones get played? Do they just let him play out the year and just?
That's true. I don't know that.
It's a very different approach now. It might actually benefit you fantasy wise though, because there's not going to be this. Let's hold off. Yeah. There's nothing to hold off of anymore. So I don't know.
And I'm always more concerned with the beginning of the year anyway, because it's just chaos once the games start, right?
Yeah.
And this is, I will say, Joe Burrow, the first John pick that I think makes some semblance of sense.
Well, he had
even
like 7 shots before that.
Even though he has Mahomes.
Oddly enough, he had a better round this round.
Yes, this round was fine.
Yeah. No, this round looks great. Like Amari's always undervalued.
Yep. And I actually kind of like Swift in this situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got. I mean, they're about to fucking either trade or cut Khalil, is what they're saying, and Roshan is going to be the backup. So he's not.
Which I have no problem with. I feel like the Herbert thing has been every year. I get told how great Khalil Herbert is, and it just never happens.
Yeah.
So
fuck that.
Rosen, you. All we can see is your forehead, man. You're like not in your camera.
Yeah, he's rolling a blunt. It's all good.
So, Dave, talk to us about George Kittle. Why George Kittle here?
I wanted Mark Andrews, and when he went, I wanted one of the top tight ends.
What?
Speak up.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I said I was targeting Mark Andrews here because I had Lamar, and to stack. And then once he went, I wanted Kittle. I thought there was a drop off for tight end. I don't know. Pitts, I see all the reasons why he can break out, but I don't know. I just went with Kittle. Now I just looked. He led the all tight ends in yardage last year. He had over 1,000 yards.
Kittle?
Yeah, he had 1,020 yards. He had 6 touchdowns, 65 receptions. Plays on a great offense.
Did he miss games last year?
Looks like he played all except one.
Okay.
So
Yeah, he's always banged up though.
Yeah.
He's always got some.
I mean, the
Something.
tight end position in fantasy, I can never figure out. So I don't.
It's the fucking game changer, man. If you can figure out tight end, it's usually gonna make or break your team. So,
I mean, I think
um,
Kittle is safe as can be here. I mean, you're not. It's not like this is a fuck up.
I mean,
by
can he
any
finish
means.
as the tight end 1? I don't know.
I don't think so.
possibly.
I would say those
Possibly.
days are over. Like, I mean, I know it just happened, right? You just said that he did, but
No, he didn't. Laporta was the one.
Laporta was number one. Okay, so
Yeah.
I would say probably not. But
Yeah, Laporta
I
had
mean,
10 touchdowns.
as each year goes by, those chances get less and less.
Yeah.
But you know,
Hey, Brandon,
you don't know who's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brandon, that reminds me, this is a vanity question because I kept him, but what do you think of Trey McBride as a Cardinals fan?
Oh man, dude, I'm really high on Trey McBride. I think last year he established himself as Kyler's favorite target. Now, obviously,
Yeah.
with Marvin in there, that changes the pecking order a bit. But is being the second option still bad for a tight end? Absolutely not. And I think he is the number 2 option on the Cardinal offense. So,
I'll take it.
Yeah. I think McBride does have the potential to finish tight end 1 this year if things fall right.
sure, no question.
I think Christian Kirk is a completely fine, and T. Higgins are completely fine. We don't need to spend a lot of time here. Talk us through George Pickens, Mark. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, as a wide receiver 3, I'm pretty happy with that. He led the NFL in yards per reception last year. So he's a home run hitter, but he only had 5 touchdowns. So I actually think there's like major touchdown upside. You know, say what you want about Fields or Russell Wilson, it's going to be a better quarterback situation than he had last year. So like, and I mean, he only had 63 receptions, yet he had 1,100 yards. So I actually think there's a lot of upside with Pickens this year. And I actually would be even happier if Ayuk went there too, because I think it's going to leave him even more space to work. He'll see less doubles. So I think as a wide receiver 3, I can't go wrong with Pickens here.
Yeah, it's a good wide receiver. At the end of the third
Mark,
round.
I've got a good question for the group. I could have traded my pick that I traded for Zay Flowers for George Pickens instead, but I picked Flowers just in case I needed that rookie eligibility next year. Who does everybody like better, Pickens or Flowers? I guess this year.
Stat wise, I would take Pickens. But when you're throwing in that caveat, I would understand that.
Isn't Pickens also?
I thought it was pretty close.
eligible?
So, yeah.
No,
I think they both are. Or no.
Pickens, third year
Pickens
now.
is a year older.
Okay. Well, I would say I think Zay's got the chance to be the one in Baltimore and get more targets. But I think they're 2 different receivers. Like Zay's going to be like a more target volume guy, maybe not getting the end zone as much, and Baltimore doesn't throw it as much. I think to your point, Mark, like Pickens is an over the top guy, but that he has better quarterback play this year. So we'll see. I don't know.
No, I mean, I think I agree. And like in a vacuum, I think Pickens is the better player, but it's close.
Yeah.
Or it is now.
I
Who
think
knows?
from a talent standpoint, I like Pickens a lot better.
Yeah.
I mean, Pickens is a alpha number 1 type guy. Zay, I think, benefits from the fact that he plays with Lamar and he gets to run in the middle of the field and gets the volume that way. You know, and there's a point to be made here where, like, what if Justin Fields actually figures it out? What if Mike Tomlin gets his kid's head on right? It's because, you know, there's this myth out there that Justin Fields was just some blockhead running quarterback. That's not what he was. He was not projected that coming into college and throughout Ohio State. He has a good arm, a good pocket presence. That could click. So
I remember Josh especially beating that drum. Like he was very accurate in college, right?
There he was. Then there was this smear campaign that he doesn't follow his goes through his transitions. It was bullshit. You know,
What's going on in Steelers camp right now? Like, who's winning that battle?
Depending on what article you read on what day, you'll hear Wilson one or you'll hear Fields is the one. So
Yeah,
to
Mitch
me,
Trubisky.
that tells me that Fields will get a chance at some point. That's all.
Yeah,
I can
I think Russ is going to get the starting nod opening day because he's the vet and he's been there before. But I think he's going to have a quick hook because he has been fucking terrible for the last 3 years.
And to
4
be
years.
fair, they need to figure out what they have with Fields because they we
This
don't
is
let
a
him walk.
year. Yeah.
This is-
Right.
Yep.
So let's talk
On to the
about-
fourth.
Let's talk about McLaurin. I think McLaurin in the fourth. Great pick here, Brandon. Talk us through it.
I mean, this guy has been underrated for how many years? Is it him and DJ Moore are in this same category of just like, does anyone not notice how good these freaking guys are? Unfortunately for McLaurin, it's actually been worse statistically just because the quarterback situation has been that much, more challenging for him. But if you're to believe that Jaden Daniels is for real, then you got to buy into the McLaurin being for real. Now, I'm very happy with this pick around 4, but I do have my concerns with Washington. I liked Daniels a lot as a college quarterback, but I'm not sold completely as in the NFL. And then there's the Cliff Kingsbury problem. I'm very concerned about that. I
love Cliff. You love Cliff.
I do not love Cliff. I'm very skeptical about Kingsbury's, reputation coming into the league with the spread and this and that, the air raid and all that bullshit, because it just doesn't work in the NFL. In college, you get to say, all right, let me get the fastest guys and let just outrun everybody. Well, that doesn't work when everybody runs a 4.4. It just doesn't. So until proven otherwise that Kingsbury's offense actually works in the NFL, I can't go and think that Team X is going to go bananas. But I do think at least he's going to have an uptick from what he had over previous years. And to get him at round 4, 37 overall, love that.
Yep.
Yeah, and Brand, you got to question what they're doing there too when they just trade Dotson for a bag of nothing. So,
Mark, I think you hit that. That is a phenomenal point. When a new coach comes in, new organization comes in, they're trying to shove their system down everybody's throats, and you're now moving off of clearly talented players just because it's my way or the highway. What does that tell you? You're not very flexible. So I think that's right.
And by the way, we're not going to get to this pick, but you guys are saying in the pre-show they are down on not Ladd McConkey, sorry, Luke McCaffrey as well.
Yeah.
So what's going on?
We shall see. I think Dan Quinn is 2 and
hold
2.
on. Luke McCaffrey was a quarterback like a year and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's going to take some time. He's good.
But he's also
He's gonna be
23 years
able to be a
old.
good receiver.
How long do we got to wait for him to be good? Until he's 27?
Well,
And no one gets the breakout?
I'd say if it was 18 months ago that he was a quarterback and not a wide receiver, I'd say he's literally stepped into the league for 3 weeks now. I'd say we could give him a little bit of time. I mean, I don't think they drafted him to be the guy that was their wide receiver 2 on year 1.
No, they drafted
I
him to
think-
be a number 3, and then they go and trade Dotson. And now, so who is the 3, right?
Right.
So,
They're
wait,
they're
so you don't
pushing
think there's
this
a competition between De'Ami Brown and Luke McCaffrey right now?
no, sounds like Zacchaeus is is going to be the other guy.
Zacchaeus is going to be the 2.
Case is the guy, and again, that goes back to the devil that he knows. You see it all the time in the NFL. The guys just stick with the people that they know. This is why Devin Singletary is with the Giants, right?
Yeah.
So all good points. Raheem, I want to pick it up a little, guys. We're at an hour and 15, and I know you guys are getting late, and I don't want to keep you here all night. So let's start kind of just touching on things in every round that makes sense. If we want to talk about our own picks, that's fine, or what we see.
Mike, can I just say, we talked about this earlier before you were on. For round 4, for me, the highlight is Xavier Worthy.
Mm-hmm.
I really love that pick. I think he's going to be a very special player. And I think he's going to end up being Mahomes' top receiver. So I'll throw that out there for the group.
I'll say this to piggyback that. Try to make sense out of the fact that Xavier Worthy goes 44 overall, and Keon Coleman went what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes
20
no sense.
something.
Makes no sense. So
Brian Thomas
Eddie?
Jr. for that matter too. I would take
And Rome, look at this fucking round right here.
Yeah, I mean honestly, I didn't even see. Yeah, 3 guys right off the top of the bat off the bat here that are in the low
That-
40s.
Easily project better than Keon, right?
I think so. I think
To tell you
so.
the truth, I actually would take Worthy over Rice. I think he's just a more talented player.
Agreed. I think Rashi Rice isn't that good. I think he ended up in a situation last year where he was able to capitalize, but
Somebody had to catch the ball, right?
he's like-
Hello,
Darius
but
just going off sides every other play. Someone's got to stay on the field.
yeah, just
Yeah.
like beware. Like Andy Reid targets sometimes don't make any sense. Just beware.
They don't. They don't.
No, but I'll say this though, okay? And I understand why people get nervous, like, oh God, another rookie receiver in Kansas City. But there's the difference here.
This guy's different.
Ty Moore
Yeah,
was
no,
never
he
that
is.
good to begin with.
No,
He just wasn't good, and he got overdrafted. Rashee Rice, again, go a year ago, Rashee Rice wasn't considered one of the elite prospects. He actually outplayed his draft projection.
he did.
Worthy, on the other hand, though, I think is a very skilled receiver. This is not just a fast guy. This is not John Ross. You know, this guy is actually a polished receiver who happens to run a damn near 4.2 40. So
Who's that? Darius Hayward Bay. That was my favorite one of those.
I felt for
yeah.
that too. I was young back then. Young and
Yes. Young and
Troy
dumb.
Williamson.
So let's move.
James
anything
Jett.
else? Anyone? Anything? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Anything
No,
else? You guys wanna
you're
talk about?
good.
Next
Yeah.
round?
So let's lightning round this. How do we like Jaden in the 7th? I mean, pretty good
In the
pick, right?
Fourth.
Oh wait,
You mean
where
in the
are we?
fourth?
Oh
Fourth.
shit! Yeah, I got lost. Oh man, that's not as good, is it?
I don't. In our league,
I thought we were in the 7th.
in our league, I get that like rookies earn like inflated value, but what I don't like is that it's the only quarterback on this team. So
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that's what I don't like about it.
Oh, he's clearly in a rebuild year. So
yeah.
You know what though? But if you're playing that rookie game type thing, wouldn't you rather have Xavier Worthy over Jaden Daniels? Wouldn't you rather have Brian Thomas Jr. over Jaden Daniels?
Or Rome.
Or Rome? Yeah, I'm sorry, because I don't see it on the screen here. But yeah, Rome. I don't get that.
cool.
Right.
Let's go to 5.
Ah, there's Kyle Pitts.
What do we see here? What do we like? What do we not like?
I do sound like a homer here, but I love the Kyler Murray pick at 53.
So do
Yeah, that's a good pick.
I mean,
It was between him and Dak for me, and the only reason I took Dak was that Kyler's strength of schedule is the fucking hardest schedule in the league. So, that's on paper now and fucking based on last year's shit, but fucking Dak was the easiest. So that was the break point for me.
Okay, here's where I say I'm praying for a Cowboys diarrhea fire, which is kind of in the works with all those contracts. Please make it happen.
Doug, you can't root against me for everything.
Well, I can also root against the Cowboys very easily, so this is kind of a
Giants.
no-brainer.
So come on.
Yeah,
How do we feel about Caleb being a whole round behind Jaden Daniels?
yeah,
you
right.
guys know how I feel about Caleb. Josh knows how I feel about Caleb. So
Questionable at best.
I think he's super talented with a ton of offense around him. And
It's
JD,
hard to make a point for Jaden Daniels over Caleb Williams. So it's like,
Yeah.
Just the running,
Wow.
maybe just the running.
It's unless it's
what
the
I gotta
running.
think. But
Yeah, but
I got.
I
I
don't
know the
mind
Lamar
this.
Jackson comparisons are really favorable right now, but maybe Lamar was just really special, and this isn't just going to happen over and over again. Jaden Daniels, as good as he was, he's 24 years old.
Yeah, he took 6 years to get there. I have a question though on this round, Dave, specifically, cousin Dave. Why did you take Zach Moss over Chase Brown? That one was a head scratcher for me.
Oh, everything I was reading was he's the guy.
Okay. Does anyone else think?
I'll back him up. Like I mentioned this before we did the recording. Apparently, because of the pass blocking, he is going to be on the field a lot more than you want to admit.
Okay, fair enough. And I will say, Mark, Jerome Ford here, great pick at the end of the fucking 5th round.
Yeah, right.
I don't know
He
if
fucking dropped.
I don't know if Chubb's. They say Chubb will be back week 4, but his leg fell off last year. Like it literally fell off. And
Yeah, that was some like
put it back
bad
on.
80s
So
like special effects shit.
I don't know if that guy's ever going to be the same again.
And he's 29.
Yeah.
I think it's over.
He was such a talent though, man. So
he was good for a long time, like solid, steady guy. Like
Just
he was
tough
a
fucking runner.
He was a mid 2000s running back that still was able to find relevancy in today's NFL. That's how good he was.
The thing is, though, even before the injury, though, the decline was already happening.
Yeah.
So now, tack on the fact that he lost his leg for a year.
Yeah,
I think this Jerome Ford pick is great because really, when you see these two guys on the field, it's not going to be close. Ford's going to be just that much better.
Yeah, he was good last year. It was a good pick. Anything else we want to touch on in this?
Yeah,
round?
I just have to say I love that I got Godwin here. Godwin's going back to the slot. He's only 28. This guy's going to catch 100 balls this year.
What do you mean back to the slot? He was like okay in the slot last year.
He's going back to the slot this year.
I was watching the
McMillan's going
games.
to play, so it's going to be Evans on the outside, McMillan on the other, and Godwin in the slot. And I like him here, and he's only 28.
Well, I hope Baker makes friends with him this year because last year was frustrating.
Last year he had 83 catches for 1,000 yards. He only had 2 touchdowns, but
Yeah, it didn't get it done.
I think as a wide receiver 3, I think he's good right here. I was super stoked about that.
When you get it in round 5 to get Godwin, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. I didn't
Guys,
want to make it like bust, but
One more thing on Ford. This year, when I looked at running backs in my prep, I looked at like O-line rankings and PFF. Browns, like the 4th ranked offensive line. They have like an identity to run the ball, which is another reason why I really liked him as like a
Sure.
guy late.
Yeah, perfect.
nice.
Yeah, it's funny, too, because Cleveland, they keep doing things to trick you into thinking, oh, maybe they're going to throw more, but they're not. That's their identity.
So Jerry Judy's a trap.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Been a trap.
always been a trap.
Yeah.
Talk
I
about
got his
guys
jersey.
that get open. What do we got in round 6 here?
Some crap. You want to look at it?
Yeah, let's look at it. Let's go. Dobbins was a great pick right there. I like Chase Brown still.
I'm with you on Brown. I still think he's the more.
I mean, why not?
Devin
Secondary running
Singletary
back.
for you, Doug. You got a starting running back in the 6th round in our draft.
It was him or Eckler, by the way. Does everybody agree I fucked that up?
I don't think so. I
Okay.
think Singletary's got, you can talk about Tyrone Tracy and Eric Gray all you want. Singletary doesn't really have much competition on the Giants unless he starts being bad. And he was pretty decent last year, and he's
Well, no, I'm just asking if you would draft Eckler or Singletary in my position for RB2.
Here's my thing, though, Mike, about that. Singletary won't do anything bad. He's one of those guys that coaches love because he just does the right thing, but he's not dynamic and he's not talented.
Right.
And the Giants suck. And
He's kind of like a floor
he's
star,
going to go
right?
on the bench because when you suck, you're not playing the safe guy. You got to see what you have. So Tracy's going to get his touches. Gray's going to get his touches. Singletary will lose the job. At least, 3
That's why you're overvaluing him in Dynasty, by the way. Thank you, Brandon.
I think the best pick in this round was Josh's. So to me, I love the value of Smith and here.
I agree.
Yeah.
That might be the pick of the damn night.
Yeah, right.
Going that low.
I like
Either
it.
him or I think coming up in the next round, Jordan Addison going as low as they did. It's actually shocking that those two went as low as they did. And some of the names that go ahead of them, I mean, it's just like, huh?
Well, we're starting to get darts, right? Blake Corum.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, Rico, you can make an argument for, but you could also make an easy argument against. Eck, we talked about. Mike, congrats on drafting the most injured guy in the draft.
Hollywood.
Hey, if he becomes back and he's the number one guy, I'm okay with it.
If doing a lot of work in that sentence. All right, on to round 7. Anybody?
Yeah, this might be the least interesting round of the draft.
This really is.
I mean,
like Jaleel McLaughlin, though, electric.
Hey, all right, yeah, and Addison, but like,
And Addison.
Njoku, boring. Komet, there's just so many mouths to feed there. Good player, but come on. Ray Davis.
Yeah, sorry guys.
I don't know. Ray.
I love his jazz albums. All right, just leave me alone.
The thing about Ray Davis, it's like, all right, if Cook goes down, but if he doesn't, then what is he? He's just a goal down, a goal back. And then, are you ever going to play him? Are you ever have enough confidence to put him in your starting?
Well, have you seen my running backs?
No,
that's all right.
Gus
I'm sure Josh Palmer's already hurt.
Yeah.
Mike, I like Jake Ferguson as a starting tight end late. This. I had him in my queue to pick. I thought that was a nice starting tight end late.
Yeah, thanks. And I like teaming him with Dak. So
Diskella's not going to watch this long, right? Cole Kmet, what? Really?
Yeah, he's not even starting. Man. Gerald Everett's got that job. So stupid. Anyway, let's go to round 8. Chuba Hubbard, great pick right here. Ty Chandler was another nice pickup. Antonio Gibson, I think, is a waste of a pick.
I agree.
But Cortland Sutton, Doug, this was a great pick in the 8th round.
Fucking A. That's my 5th receiver, man.
Cortland Sutton is definitely one of those guys that people forgot how good he is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but
and I think
year 2 is insane.
Year 2 in Denver, I think that offense is going to be a lot better than it was last year. Now that Russ is out, he's got his guy in Bo Nix, who I think is going to actually put some numbers up. I don't know if he's going to be great and they're going to be a good team, but I think the offense is going to move the ball.
What is the comparison with him? Like Minshew?
No, they say he's like
more conservative.
No, they say he's like he reminds Peyton of Breeze. That's why he drafted
that. That is the biggest.
What are you talking?
Like, I can't.
You haven't heard that? Nobody's
heard that? I've heard it, but it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, dude, they're fucking stabbing at things here. He's an undersized quarterback with a pop gun arm and a fucking Peyton offense.
So Doug Flutie, perfect.
If we could throw some more shit on Keon Coleman, I would have taken 80 Mitchell over Keon Coleman, and this is round 8.
Who would you have taken?
Sorry.
Mitchell.
Yeah, I mean, but wouldn't you have taken 2 Khalil Shakir?
And probably Jalen Wright, by the way.
Oh, Khalil Shakir going to round 8 is like mind-boggling. How is that happening? I don't even know.
Well, because everybody discounts Samuel.
If we're playing the rookie game, I would take A.D. Mitchell over Keon Coleman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think we're all on the same page about Antonio Gibson though being a waste.
Yeah. Jordan Whittington, maybe actually. He stumbled into that.
Yeah, it's a shock that came out.
Mike Williams, you never know.
He did need help searching for him.
Yeah, he did.